Raise your hands up above your head, bringing your palms together and rub them nice and warm. And spread that energy all over the face and neck, and open your eyes. So we'll stand up and we'll do some standing exercises. Start with a spot jog, moving from one foot to the other. Bringing the arms into it, moving the arms up and down. Pulling the tummy in. And if it feels comfortable, speed up a little bit. And a little bit more if that's comfortable for you. Getting the heart racing just a little bit. And start to slow down, bringing yourself to a halt. Feet apart, hands out to the sides, up at shoulder width. Bend the elbows, bringing the arms into cactus pose. And we'll breathe in, turn to the left. Breathe out, turn to the right. Pulling the tummy in, keeping the back nice and straight. And last one on this side, last one on this side. Lower the arms and just give them a little shake. Feet apart. And then we'll just bend forward, bringing the hands down towards the ground. Make the legs nice and wide. If it feels comfortable, you can lift the hands and hold on to each elbow. And then just sway from side to side. Hands back to the mat and lift yourself back up. Just give the arms and legs a little bit of a shake. Hands on the hips, and we'll lift the alternate knees. Lift them nice and high. Breathing in when you bring the knee up, breathing out when you put it down. Last one on this side, and last one on this side. Turn one foot to face the front of the mat. Bend that front knee. Lift up the arms. If it feels comfortable for you, you can bend that back knee and bring it to the ground. And lift back up. Lower the arms and turn to the opposite side. Bend the front knee. Lift the arms up above the head, stretching up nice and tall. Coming in, back nice and straight. If it feels comfortable for you, bend that back knee. Bringing the knee down to the ground. Stretching up and then lift back up. And round to the other side. Bending the front knee, lifting up the arms. This time, breathe out, bend forward at the waist, bringing the hands down towards the mat. You can be on your fingertips, or if it's possible for you, bring the hands to the ground. And then lift the hands back up straight above the head, straighten that leg, and turn to the opposite side. Bend the front knee, and lower the tummy towards the knee, bringing the hands down towards the mat, either on your fingertips, or if possible, hands flat to the mat. And then lift yourself back up, hands above the head, come back to the center, bend forward, holding on to each toe. Legs quite wide. Bring both hands to one foot. Then both hands to the center. And then both hands to the other foot. Take a deep breath in and lift both the arms up above the head, stretching up nice and tall. Then we'll turn to one side. Bring both hands down to the foot. Then to the center. And then to the other foot. Take a good breath in, lifting the arms up above the head, stretching up nice and tall. And then lower the arms to the side, bringing the feet together. So with the feet hip width apart, we'll put the hands on the hips and we'll just move the waist, make circles with the waist. And then reverse. Last one. Just give yourself a bit of a shake, shaking everything, loosening everything off. And then we'll come to the front of the mat and we'll do the sun salutation. Feet hip width apart. Bring the palms together into prayer position, Namaste Mudra. Hands at the heart. And just take a few breaths. Breathe in, lifting the hands up above the head into a backward bend. Breathe out, folding forward at the waist, hands down to the mat. Bend the right leg, stretching the left leg out behind, and look up. Take the right leg to join the left, lifting up the hips. Bring yourself into downward dog. Step the feet back, bringing yourself into a nice plank position. And just try and hold this here just for a second. Before lowering to the ground, knees, chest, chin to the floor, hips raised slightly, hands next to the shoulders, elbows bent. Take a big breath in, straightening the arms, lifting the head into a cobra. Put the toes under, lifting the hips back into downward dog. This time, bring the left leg forward between the hands and stretch the right leg out behind and look up. Bring the right leg to join the left, lifting up the arms into a backward bend. And then bring the hands to the heart, Namaste Mudra. Take a few breaths. Breathe in, lifting up the arms again into a backward bend. Breathe out, bringing the hands to the mat, forward bend. This time, bend the left leg, stretching the right leg out behind, and look up. Bring the left foot to join the right, lifting up the hips into a downward dog. Let the feet back and bring yourself into a nice plank position. And just try and hold here for a second before lowering to the ground, knees, chest, chin to the floor, hips raised slightly, hands next to the shoulders, elbows bent. Breathe in, straighten the arms, lifting the head into a nice cobra position. Tuck the toes under, lifting up the hips, back into downward dog. This time, bring the right leg forward between your hands, stretching the left leg out behind, and look up. Bring the left foot to join the right, lifting up the arms into a backward bend. And then bring the hands to the heart, Namaste Mudra, and take a few breaths. And come back to the center of the mat. And give yourself a little bit of a shake, keeping everything nice and loose. Feet hip width apart. Lift the hands straight up above the head, nice and tall, stretching up towards the ceiling. And we'll do a half forward hop fold, bringing the hands down to the knees, to the shins, whichever's comfortable for you. Keeping the back nice and straight. Breathe in, lifting the hands up above your head, stretching up nice and tall. Breathe out, folding at the waist, bringing the hands to the knees or the shins, whichever's comfortable for you, keeping the back nice and straight. Breathe in, lifting the arms up above your head, stretching up nice and tall. Find something to gaze at and lift up onto your toes. Stretching up, pulling the tummy in, keeping the back nice and straight, reaching up towards the sky. And lower, give yourself a bit of a shake. And we'll do that again. Lifting the arms up above the head, stretching up nice and tall, reaching up towards the sky, pulling the tummy in, straightening the back. Find something to gaze at, lifting up onto the toes. And back to the mat. Give yourself a bit of a shake. So feet a little bit apart, and we'll do a half chair. Hands out in front, and we'll lower the bottom like we're sitting on a chair. Trying to make sure that the knees aren't over the toes. Bringing the bottom back. And stand up. Then we'll do a full chair, feet a little bit wider apart. Hands at the front, join the palms together. Breathe out, bend the knees, bend the elbows. Bringing the elbows down towards the knees, bottom towards the floor. Wherever you can get is fine. Don't force anything. This is your yoga practice. We're all made differently. And back up and just give yourself a bit of a shake. Feet hip width apart. And we'll turn to the right hand side. So I'm putting my left arm, my left hand on my right thigh, and my right arm behind, looking over my right shoulder. And then we'll move to the other side. Just putting a small twist in the back. Bring the arms around to the other side. And over to the other side one more time. And back to the center. Just give it arms and legs a little bit of a shake. Feet apart. Hands out to the side. And we'll bend the knees and elbows into a goddess pose. And back up, straighten the arms, straighten the elbows, straighten the knees. Breathe out, bend the knees, bend the elbows into a goddess pose. This time, take alternate hands above the head. And hands out to the sides. Straighten the knees, straighten the arms. And we'll touch the alternate toes. So I'm taking my right hand to my left foot. But my left arm, I'm taking it up behind me and I'm turning my head to look at it. And back up. And we'll do the same the other side. Left hand to the right foot, keeping the right arm nice and straight, lifting it up behind, turning your head to look at it. Back up to the center. We'll go again the other side. Right arm to the left foot, lifting up that left arm, turning your head to look at it. Back up to the center. And last time, left hand to the right foot, right arm up behind, turning your head to look at it. And back to the center. Give yourself a bit of a shake. And we'll walk up and down the mat, first on our toes. Then on our heels. Then on the sides of the feet. And then the insides of the feet. So then we'll come back down to the mat for the next breathing exercise, Kapalbhati. breathing out exercise. And we'll do this for 5 minutes. Finger posture I like to use for this, Surya Mudra, which is the ring finger pressed down with the thumb. This balances the body, reduces weight, and increases the heat element in the body to aid in proper digestion. So if you're pregnant, don't do this exercise, and practice gently if you have a heart condition, high blood pressure, or you've had an operation in the last 6 months. Other than that, everyone else is fine. And if for any of those reasons or any other reason you can't do this exercise, carry on and do Bhastrika for 5 minutes, the breathing exercise that we've just done. Just breathing it in and out nice and gently. So with this exercise, the emphasis is on breathing out deeply through your nose while your stomach contracts. Inhaling will be automatic. So I think you all know what you're doing. So I've set the timer for 5 minutes and we shall begin. Excuse me, whoever's not on mute, could you please mute yourself? This exercise helps the face become bright, lustrous and attractive. The internal organs get exercised and it works with the digestive system, helping to regulate weight. It also helps with the immune system. Breath is the bridge between the body and emotion. By regulating the breath, you can shift from a place, a state of unrest, fearful or angry, to a calm, centered, balanced place. 30 seconds left. If you'd like to speed up a little bit and this is in your practice, please do so. If not, just carry on as you were. Raise your hands up above your head, bringing your palms together and rub them nice and warm. And then spread that energy all over the face and neck, and open your eyes. So we'll stretch the legs out in front and we'll just exercise the toes. Hands each side of the hips, resting on the mat, and we'll just move the toes backwards and forwards. And then the whole foot, pressing the foot down towards the mat, and then pulling it back towards the body. Down towards the mat, back towards the body. Down towards the mat, back towards the body. Down to the mat, back towards the body. Down to the mat, back to the body. And then we'll make circles with the feet, keeping the feet together, but making big circles with the feet. And then reverse. And last one, and just give the knees a little bit of a shake. So then from there, we'll lie down onto our backs. Keeping the hands down the sides of the body. Stretching the toes, pointing the toes. Feeling the hands planted on the mat. And just get yourself nice and comfortable here just for a second, breathing in and out, keeping the toes nice and pointed. Bend one knee, put the hands behind that knee, and we'll make big circles with the foot. Lowering the foot back down to the ground. And then we'll do the same with the other knee, hands behind the knee, making big circles with the foot. Bringing it back to the mat. If it's comfortable for you, lift up the arms straight out in front, reaching up to the sky, pointing the toes, pulling the tummy in. And then lower one hand behind the head, and then the other hand into a full body stretch. Pointing the toes, stretching the arms, breathing in and out, nice and gentle. Then bring the hands up to point to the sky and down to the mat, each side of the hips. Lift one leg up, straight up above you at 90 degrees. And then the other leg, 90 degrees, keeping the hands each side of the hips, resting on the mat. Take a deep breath in. And breathe out, lowering the legs nice and gently towards the mat. Trying to keep them straight if that's possible for you. Lowering nice and gently. Still pulling the tummy in, keeping the hands rested on the mat. And bringing them down towards the mat. And once you hit the floor, just breathe in and breathe out a couple of times. Bend one knee, keeping the foot on the mat, and then the other knee. Keeping the feet hip width apart, both knees bent, hands resting on the mat next to the hips. Take a deep breath in and lift the hips up into a bridge pose. If this feels comfortable, you can bring the hands together underneath the bottom, just interlock the fingers, let them rest underneath your back. Then if the hands are under the bottom, bring them out back to the sides of the hips and lower the bottom back to the mat. Bring one knee towards the chest, then the other towards the chest, hands onto the tops, and we'll just rock from side to side. And then rock backwards and forwards. Massaging the spine. And then come back to a nice lying position. Legs straight, hands each side of the hips. So we'll lift one leg nice and straight to 90 degrees. Lift the arms to stretch up. Let the arms fall out into a T position. And then that straight leg that's lifted up, take it over to the opposite side and turn your head to look the opposite way into a small twist. Leg back up to the center and lower back to the mat. So we'll do the same with the opposite leg. Straight up to 90 degrees. Take the leg one way, take the head the other. Back up to the center. Bend that knee, bring the foot to the mat. Bend the other knee, bringing that foot next to the other. Hip width apart. And we'll take both knees to one side and turn the head to the other. And back up to the center and the same the other side. Taking the knees down to the mat or as close as you can. Turning the head the opposite way. Just do what your body allows. Don't force anything. This is your yoga practice. We are all different. Back to the center. Stretch the legs out. Lower the arms back to the sides of the hips. Lift both arms up above the head, stretching them out and give yourself a full body stretch. Then over to one side. And then push yourself up, and we'll come back to a nice seated position. For the next breathing exercise, yulom, alternate nostril breathing. And we'll do this for 5 minutes. With your right thumb, close your right nostril, breathe in through your left. Then close your left nostril with the middle two fingers of your right hand, breathe out through the right. Breathe in through the right, close that nostril, breathe out through the left, and repeat. Always start and finish on the left-hand side. And if you do want that little bit more from this exercise, you can breathe into the count of 5, hold to the count of 5, breathe out to the count of 10. So I'll set the timer for 5 minutes, and we shall begin. Yulom. This exercise purifies the breaths and improves the level of oxygen in the blood. It helps the body become healthy and strong. It gives you a positive attitude, and it helps with the blood flow to the heart, helping to prevent heart attacks. Always finish on the left-hand side. And then bring your palms together above your head and rub them nice and warm. And spread that energy all over the face and neck, and open your eyes. So we'll come back onto our knees. And then we'll go into an all-four position. Hands shoulder width apart, fingers spread wide, knees hip width apart, nice straight back. And we'll do a couple of rounds of cat and cow. So we'll breathe in and we'll lift the head and lower the back. And then we'll breathe out, lower the head, arch the back. Breathe in, lift the head, lower the back. Breathe out, lower the head, arch the back. So we'll do that one more time. Breathe in, lift the head, lower the back. And breathe out, lower the head, arch the back. And then flatten the back. Move the fingers slightly forward. Tuck the toes under. Lift up the hips. We'll bring ourselves back into downward dog. Take a couple of breaths here. Lift one leg. Straightening that leg up behind. And then bend the knee of that straight leg. Stacking one hip over the other. Looking under the elbow of the opposite arm. Then straighten that knee, bring the foot back to the mat, and just lift up the alternate heels. So we'll do the same with the other leg, straightening the leg up behind, bending that knee, stacking one hip on top of the other, trying to bring the foot down to the bottom. Straighten that leg back up, bring the foot to the mat, bend the knees, bringing the feet back, the knees down to the mat. Stretch the hands out in front and lower the head into a child's pose. If it's more comfortable for you, you can move the arms from being stretched out to down the sides of the body, whichever suits you best. Just take a couple of breaths. Bring the hands near the shoulders, push onto the mat, and bring yourself up onto a nice kneeling position. And we'll do Mundukasana for diabetes. Stretch the arms out in front, make two fists, bring the fist to each side of the belly button, bend forward, bringing the forehead towards the mat, breathing out at the end of the breath. Lift the head to look at the mat, and I'll count to 10. And back up. Just take a couple of breaths. And we'll do one hand on top of the other over the tummy button. Big breath in, breathe out, folding forward, bringing the forehead towards the mat. At the end of the breath, lift the head to look at the mat and count to 10. And back up. Hands to the floor, bring yourself back to a nice seated position, and we'll do butterfly. Bringing the soles of the feet together, wrapping the hands around the toes, and we'll just move the knees up and down. Breathing in and out, nice and gently. If it feels good for you, you can close down your eyes. Just moving the knees up and down. Very good for exercising the pelvic floor and everything below the waist. And start to slow down. Bring your elbows into your knees and bend forward, exercising the lower back. Just do what your body allows. Don't force anything. And back up. And bring yourself back into a nice seated position. And we'll put the hands out in front. Make two fists, bringing the hands together, and we'll revolve the wrists. And then reverse. And then lower the hands back to the knees. We'll move the neck. So we'll lower the chin to the chest. Slowly move your head to the left, to the back, to the right, and to the front. Then reverse, so to the right, to the back, to the left, and to the front. And we'll take the head to the back, and then chin to the chest. Rubbing the chin to the chest 3 times. To the back, and chin to the chest. Rubbing the chin to the chest 3 times. And up to the center. Turn your head to look over your left shoulder. And then to the right. And back to the center. So next we'll do Brahmari. So place your index fingers over your eyebrows. The rest of your fingers over your eyes. Close your ears with your thumbs. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out gently through your nose, making a humming sound. While you're doing this, imagine you are connected to all the positive energies of the universe. So we'll do this 3 times. Deep breath in. Raise your hands up above your head, bringing your palms together. Rub them nice and warm. Place that warm energy all over your face. And open your eyes. Interlock your fingers. Bring the hands to the forehead. Breathe in, press and hold. Onto the back of the head. Breathe in, press and hold. And to the sides of the head. Breathe in, press and hold. And to the top of the head. Breathe in, press and hold. Float the hands back to rest onto the knees. Close down the eyes. And we'll do a short prayer for the health and humanity of others. Breathe in and breathe out, nice and gently. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May no one suffer. May everyone prosper. Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we'll open the eyes and we'll finish with clapping and laughing. Last round more. And press the hands again. And then we'll throw them in the air and we'll laugh out loud 3 times. And again. And the last time. Thank you all for joining the class this evening.
Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Have a lovely evening.
All right, Jayashree.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Jayashree.
Bye. See you next week,
Thank you.
Roxanne.
Thank you, Roxanne.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, everyone.
Today I've been joined little
Okay, bye, everybody. Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Roxanne.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Roxanne. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you. Good night.
Bye, Roxy.